Author's note. This is my first time writing, so be kind to me. In the darkness of that night, away from the praying eyes and ears of those who would judge, some strangers slipped by unnoticed. But they were not strangers, they knew each other. And they knew each other much closer than any of their friends did realize. They knew each other both inside and out. But their friends did not know this. Their friends could not know. Their friends should not know this. Nor could they know. Because it was night, and thus away from their viscous, judging eyeballs.
Is he safe?
Said the first stranger, who was not a stranger to the other stranger, but will remain a stranger to us for the moment.
I think so. It's dark, so none of the others should see us here, even if they are nearby. I think our secret is safe.
Good. He couldn't take their judgment right now. My life is too stressful as. If he went for you, he don't know what it do and kill himself, of course.
Don't worry, Darkblade the cuntfucker. I will always be here for you, waiting in the dark.
Tank, Tatsuya Suou. He will always be in the dark for you too.
With that, the two shadows embraced, an embracement in the night full of kissing and nighttime joys. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was 6 o'clock. For a moment time seemed to slow down. Darkblade the cuntfucker wondered why. Darkblade the cuntfucker turned around slowly, due to the time seeming to have slowed down. Then the explanation, Tatsuya Suou was secretly looking at her. Looking at her in that special way. Darkblade the cuntfucker's soul lit up like a beacon in the night, even though it was day. In all of this mess. They had each other, even if each other was the only ones that knew. Tatsuya Suou turned away at that moment, time jumped back to normal as Darkblade the cuntfucker was no longer transfixiated by Tatsuya Suou. Fortunately, no one else had noticed. Tatsuya quickly went to his house. Tatsuya and Lain were entering the living room.
Hey Lain, Iwakura,
said Tatsuya. Lain was looking unhappy though.
Bad news, Tatsuya. We are broke.
You. But after our last adventure we were rich.
Yes, but after taxes we are broke. In fact, we owe money now, because taxes are high for rich people.
Oh darn it. What will we do?
Said Tatsuya to Lain.
We need to make a lot of money to pay off the tax, else our space elevator in which we live will be rebossed.
Just then, the TV which was on all this time changed to a news announcement. And the World Furious Masturbation Championship final starts tomorrow. Aside from the coveted trophy, the prize this year will include €7 million. In other news, a war. Lain shut the TV off.
Of course.
Said Tatsuya.
Furious masturbation. Why didn't I think of that?
Yes, furious masturbation, the sport of kings.
Tatsuya nodded in agreement.
We can make lots of money doing that and pay off the tax that we owe.
Yes,
screamed Lain Iwakura, getting excited.
But we need in, else we won't be allowed in.
Don't worry. I know someone who can get us into the finals.
Oh, that's good.
And with that, they got into the finals. Before the contest, Tatsuya and his friends decided to take a tour of the arena. Aside from the normal restaurants and furious masturbation gift shops, there was also a museum. A museum dedicated to the history and art of furious masturbation. As they had done the other stuff already, they decided to go to the museum. Originally, furious masturbation wasn't that popular as a sport, but in recent years it had become the most popular sport in the world after all others were banned. Some people missed other sports at first, but slowly it was just accepted that furious masturbation was the best sport on an urethra. They looked at the giant diorama of the first furious masturbation in contest. There was a button they could press, and the animatronics would act out famous events in its history. There was also giant pieces of furious masturbating equipment all around the museum. Dylan Klebold looked at one particularly large display.
It's magnificent.
Yes, it is.
Just then though, the display started wobbling.
Oh, no. It's coming down.
Tatsuya Suou dived out the way, but Dylan was too slow.
Oh, I am trapped,
said Dylan, who was now trapped under the rubble. Tatsuya tried to move the rubble but couldn't.
Sorry, Dylan, but I can't move it.
That's okay, I'll wait here.
Okay, I'll be going to the arena then.
Tatsuya Suou walked to the museum door, but it was locked.
No, I am trapped.
said Tatsuya. Tatsuya had no choice now, so he pulled the fire alarm. By the time the firemen had rescued them, however, it was already halftime. Tatsuya had missed the whole first half of the competition. Back at the locker room, Lain and Tatsuya Suou were talking. Dylan had been taken to the hospital,
How are you ever going to catch up?
said Lain Iwakura. Adu was leading when halftime went. Tatsuya's time spent seeing to Dylan had cost him the lead,
It's not important.
said Tatsuya.
What's important is I know Iju wants to win the World Championship Furious Masturbating Contest. It's the prize.
Who?
Said Lain Iwakura.
I did some research and it's really the Foreskin. If he wins the contest they will give him it and there will be nothing we can do to stop him.
OMG.
Also he was the one that sabotaged the poor Dylan.
Poor Dylan.
Yes, poor Dylan. The contest doesn't matter anymore, we must get that Foreskin by winning the contest.
But how are we going to win?
I have a plan.
Said Tatsuya. He then left quickly. Sometime during the halftime in their secret hideaway,
I am glad we found a way to survival and still be together.
Yes, our plan seems to have worked despite all the events.
Do you think anyone spotted us?
No.
No?
Yes,
Kori-sama emerged from the shadows of the darkness.
I know everything.
He said. Darkblade the Kuntficker and Tatsuya Suou gasped. Their secret was finally revealed,
I don't love Tatsuya Suou like you do,
said Kori-sama.
but I have always lusted a bit after him. So you see, if Tatsuya Suou spends the night with me, I will never tell anyone.
Darkblade the Kuntficker breathed a sigh of relief. That was, after all, a reasonable request. They agreed to the bargain,
Pfui, that's something we can go along with.
said Tatsuya Suou relieved. Kori-sama was happy, and Darkblade the Kuntficker and Tatsuya Suou thus got to live happily ever after together, with no one but Kori-sama and themselves ever knowing. Just then the horns sounded. Halftime was over, and the final part of the furious masturbating contest had begun. Adu was well in the lead by the time they got out. Lain Iwakura had taken Dylan's place in the contest, as is traditional. Tatsuya started furious masturbationing. Furious masturbationing harder than anyone had ever furious masturbated before. But it wasn't enough. The Jew was in the lead now, showing off by doing it one-handed,
How are we ever going to catch up?
said Lain.
We only have one choice. We have to team up and do the furious masturbation together.
Tatsuya Suou went right next to Lain, and they started furious masturbation together.
What you doing?
Screamed the Jew,
That can't be in the rules.
Actually, there's nothing in the rules that says it can't be done.
said Lain while flicking over the official furious masturbation rule book. She was the contest's judge BTW,
Yes. Go Tatsuya. Go Lain.
said Kori-sama, who was also in the crowd with a banner that said they were the best. Inspired by this, Tatsuya Suou and Lain went ever faster and faster. Many people in the crowd fainted because they furiously masturbated so hard,
No, I can't lose.
screamed a View as he lost. Tatsuya and Lain finished furiously masturbating together,
We won.
exclaimed Lain as they wiped the floor. The crowd went wild,
You have won.
said Aegis. She then carefully handed them the prize,
No, it was supposed to be for me.
said the Jew,
The Foreskin is safe now?
said Tatsuya Suou as he put on the gold prize. With that they collected the prize money and went home. The Jew sulked off. Dylan Klebold got better, but never competed in professional furious masturbating again. Author's note: I didn't really know what furious masturbation was when I wrote this. I think I got away with it though.